through our drive to the highway, she
Chat,
screamed.
there we go.
I only got
So
a
I
glimpse
can't
of the beast
have a
from the
live
review,
chat
and I could only see pieces of
if
its
my
fur as the
stream
entirety
is
of the
made
shape
for kids.
took up more than my small little mirror could offer.
That's so
I turned
dumb.
around for a moment and saw Fenrir in all his 10 feet tall
Fudge?
glory.
Well,
The
I
wolf
mean, I
moved
guess that means I
impossibly
can
quick
just
through the
say
snow.
fuck all I want now.
For a
so
sickening moment, I thought he
that's a
might be able to
plus.
catch us, but the car continued to chug on forward.
Shit.
The alarm continued to sound.
Good God, what am I
And then
going
it
to
stopped,
do
and
with
Fenrir stopped as well.
So what's a billy?
He sat on his hind
What's a
legs like an
Billy?
absurd
That
little
would
house
be
puppy
my
launched to drive
brother.
away.
Valheim.
We turned a corner and he was gone.
Error. Oh my God, are you serious?
Isabel
So
laughed
it's doing that
hysterically
shit
from the
again.
passenger seat. The highway entrance stood only about a mile
Yes,
down
like
the
a
road.
Billy goes.
We were home free.
We use the
I pushed my foot to the gas pedal as far as it would go. We skidded
Yes,
out onto the
but
first
he
paved
is
road.
Have a little beard thingy.
But I
like
nearly
Billy Goat.
crashed into the entrance ramp when Isabel reached out and swerved the
is
wheel.
not
I
accessible.
hit the brakes and I screamed in her
Why
face.
is it not
What are you
accessible?
doing? She pointed wordlessly into the woods.
Okay, so it's just
There was an old metal building that poked out from the tops of the pine trees. I had never seen it before, but it looked tall enough to hold a siren. Plus, Mare Tanner hung from the top.
I can't access
I stumbled
it?
with the gears of the car.
Alright,
and
so
tried to
there's
get
two
going
things
again.
I gotta do
But
right.
Isabel placed her hand on mine and nodded towards the tree line.
And
The
it's doing
teenage
the
girl
card
that
shit,
stepped
yeah,
out
of
through the
course.
forest looked to be about her
Eject.
age. She had matted brown hair with dirty and bloodied clothes. I thought that she might make a move for our
SSD.
car
Now
as she
it's
stumbled
working
forward.
just fine, but
I
it's
pushed
saying
into drive and
continue
disappeared
without
down the
streaming.
highway. I
Alright, that's
almost
fine.
cried at the sight of
Let's see if
traffic.
it'll friggin' move Valheim.
Isabel only spoke again once we had crossed the state line. Did you know that I had a sister?
Storage.
I shook my head.
Valheim.
She nodded from the passenger seat without much
Valheim
surprise.
folder already exists.
Dad never talked about it. He felt guilty, I
Okay,
guess.
so
Sarah
about
and Laney
Sparking
Tanner died
Zero.
in his car
And now
after
it's
all.
moving content
They
for
stole
Sparking
it
Zero.
1 week ago today.
Which means that
I
I should
sensed an
have
explanation
this.
coming. I mean, neither of us had eaten in days. We only slept in between shifts. I told her to wait. We pulled into a rest stop and I ordered some breakfast. She explained her story to me over cold bacon and warm tea. They were the crazy kids in town. She chuckled a bit as she stared at the food with disgust.
See, now you got
Crazy's
it.
a nice word for it. They never went to college, never got jobs. Both kids just wanted to stay close to home and party. So they bought an apartment in town.
I know about her. She's a
But two
crypto
20-year-olds
AI.
just don't
She's
belong in
cool.
a small place like Tanner
Yeah, she's
Falls.
cool.
That's what my dad used to say anyway.
Yeah, I actually sent her
I stared at
prompts
her.
through
People
Zeta.
came and went inside the crowded cafeteria, but nobody listened. Nobody knew the context of our situation. They got drunk that night. They took Dad's car from the garage and went out to a bar a town over. They were underage. Sheriff Tanner caught them, but they tried to outrun him once they got back into town. Isabel looked at me again with those beautiful blue eyes.
You're not wrong.
They looked so
Sadly,
I didn't see
Jeebus.
that at the time. They hit a tree and died, in the exact spot that we just saw her. The pieces started to flow together. I stared at my sandwich stupidly as Isabel got up from her seat and said that she needed to find a bathroom. I deliriously agreed while trying to think up our next strategy. I waited for a half hour. She never came back.
Damn it.
You look like a
inside the rest
Pokemon.
stop, probably
Shut
a lot
up.
You
longer
look like
than
an
I should
orange
have.
Pikachu.
But I still
That's
trusted
because
her.
this
I did not think
NFT
that she could
avatar
just
that is
abandon
worth
me.
money.
And yet when I finally made my way back
Okay.
to
It's
the
an
spot
orange
where we parked
Pikachu.
the car, it was gone.
It's a Raichu
And so
costume,
were my
actually,
keys.
with a
I have
sight
not seen or
as a
heard from
back
her in
item.
3 years. Eventually, I made my way back to Jersey.
It's not Pikachu, it's friggin' Raichu. That's what Pikachu evolves into, damn it.
I tried to write off the entire experience as a bad dream.
It's not Pikachu either, Billy, shut up. Quit helping her.
That's funny. That's funny.
Just like Dad said.
Damn it,
Maybe it's the way
Billy.
that
Billy
entrance
Goat's
road
okay.
weaves its way through the pine trees.
Well, apparently
Maybe
my
it's the way
sister
the
says
town
you're
seems to
okay.
invite
so-
mystery.
Well, except for that commentary.
Maybe it's the endless internet searches that have ended with little
That
or no
just
luck.
pissed off.
he's
Or
kind of
maybe it's
odd,
just the weird
like
phone
me.
calls.
That's why we
They
get
all
along.
share the same message.
I don't even know what
It's
he said.
happening
The
again.
commentary.
Come back to Tanner
You don't
Falls.
want to know. Just leave it at that. So I need syrups, copyright bars. Okay, I think I have a syrup. I should probably reload this. Boo. 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 Okay.
Let's just leave it. I know how to.
No, it's because I don't like pedophiles.
So, Orange Pikachu.
Yeah, pretty much.
The dog on
I had a couple other NFTs, but I gave Billy one and Eric one. I really shouldn't have fucking given Eric
Asana
that
can
other
help
one,
manage it.
honestly.
From project intake to campaign
Okay.
management to strategic
That's what
planning and more,
Eric is.
Asana works for you. Try it for free today at
Because technically I
asana.com.
owed him like $4, so I gave him an NFT worth like $5 so he
Choose
could
to lean
shut his
into it.
fucking crap.
Every
So I didn't
Mazda
have
is
to
engineered to
kill him.
give you effortless control.
You know. Yeah.
I still have no idea how I beat you in the.
Sparking Zero.
Yeah. I just clicked random buttons.
I mean, that works sometimes, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie, because certain combinations pretty much are like a bunch of button combinations and mashing, so.
I just clicked random shit as an old guy.
No, what's up? Oh, you're in my live chat, huh?
No.
Where the fuck is my live chat tab? Damn it. Oh. I'm not the one who shreds my nuts 7 inches into a tree to support the cause, huh? Oh, of course, as soon as Lemurs licking lemons. I'm not the one who sits on bike pump backwards his goddamn profession. Chain that Zeta, show it what was. All hail he Ulan and Jabulon. Okay, buddy. Oh my gosh, as soon as I do that, of course. Can I keep that here? No, it just automatically pops it down as soon as I do that.
Does he have a kid?
Billy? Yes. Yes, he does. Can I not? I can't do that, huh? It
Why would
counts.
you? Why would he put his child's name on his? Oh, he's not married. He's a fiance.
What, you're stalking my brother on Fedbook now? What's wrong with you?
He's not the smartest.
Oh, he's just got big balls and doesn't give a fuck like me. There's a difference. Not enough free space. How is there not enough? Fucking SSD. Okay, Billy. So now I need to connect my. Okay, let's go check. Bluetooth controller. That's what I'm talking about. So I need your help to do that.
Yeah, he looks like he would be named Billy.
Shut up. Fucking A. Shit.
What?
Okay, so let's just. Okay. So that being said, let's just reformat this bitch and just erase all the games on it. Fuck it. Since I can't scan it to fix it, that should fix the issue, and then I can just start all over, I guess. You're an issue.
You're an issue.
You're a nation.
I'll spit on you.
You gotta admit that was a good one, bro. Urination. Urination!
I'll spit on you.
I'll poke you with my witch finger.
I'm gonna do it.
Don't.
I'll do it.
Don't.
I'll do it.
Don't. Don't do it. You crazy?
Why? Your pants are probably dirty anyway.
I don't know. I just washed it because I went to the bathroom. I'm sliding. Why do you want to do that? What did I do? You're a little turd, sis. Quit it. Do you hear this, Billy? She's assaulting me. She's trying to That's not what I meant, and you know it.
I'm gonna kill Billy.
Apparently, she's gonna kill you. Are you gonna kill Bill now? Oh fuck. Are you done? You are a tall can, Modelika. I'm just questioning. I'm not a pre-scan, I'm an after effect, good sir. Okay? That's where you got me fucked up. I don't know what you're talking about, but it made no sense. I need my hand back, thank you. Yes, move Valheim. Why is it not registering my fucking SSD? Okay, I need this here. And then it does that again, of course. So then eject. Okay, so then I will make a new folder and name it Steam. And then close that.
I didn't do anything.
You're always trying to assault me.
I'll spit on you too.
I think I need to reload Steam then. I'll put this on for chat.
Call it first.
I need that.
No, Dad wants to look at it.
It's very scared. But I need this. So
Why do you need that?
to make $12, god damn it!
Well, I need to look at it.
Okay,
That's
well
why I
just
brought it home.
give me a fucking second to scan it right quick, okay?
You haven't got a scan yet? What's the matter with you?
Doing shit, Dad. Multiple things at friggin' once, no less.
Your finger in your nose does not count as doing things.
That's not what I'm talking about, and you know it.
I saw he was picking his nose and eating it.
Not even.
Yeah, knew it was coming.
Not fucking even.
You did it too.
Yeah, exactly,
I
Dad.
do it all the time.
Gary. Back
Gotta
when
get
he
that
was just a
protein
Gary
somewhere.
Cooper, a weirdo kid with a mullet.
Recycling gray
He's a
matter,
wonderful
right?
boy, even
That's right.
Nice.
He arrived at our school sometime in
You love
grade
it,
6,
you know it.
and straight away the kids hated him, and for good reason. And Gary would light insects on fire and laugh as they burned.
Install
Then
this,
he would
log
toss the
in,
charred
and then I make
carcasses at girls and laugh as they squealed and ran away.
So that'll be
Like I said,
nice.
he was a strange character.
I already have
But
the
it was in
20
high
that
school
I
when he
need for the
became
next one.
graveyard
Oh, and I got
Gary.
refunds
Gary
on
was
those
overeager,
gift cards for
overweight,
Settle.
and
So my
overtly
monthly
hungry.
payments actually
Needless
went
to
down
say,
to
he
like
couldn't
8.
charm his way
Or no,
out of
my
the James Bond movie.
My payments for
Still,
every
he was
2
smart,
weeks
no
for the
denying
next
that,
6
and he
weeks
got good
is
grades.
less than
See
20.
that later, or is he just busy
But
talking?
still, I kind of liked him. Maybe because he was such a
I'm working
hard
on it,
ass,
Dad.
he desperately
Chill.
wanted to fit in but couldn't.
Fat.
How hard he
No, they
tried.
weren't 10.
Maybe because no matter how bad my life got, at least I wasn't as unpopular or weird as Graveyard Gary. I discovered
I'm
a
doing like
secret,
10
if
things
you
at
could even
once
call
right
it
now.
that,
You guys have
during
no
lunch
clue.
break. Back in grade 11, I believe.
Alright.
You see,
Why are
I
you
too
saying
was
nope
weird.
in the chat?
Still
Billy?
am.
What the fuck?
But unlike Graveyard Gary, I kept my mouth shut.
That's
I wasn't popular by any stretch of the imagination, but I got by.
Leave my
Being good at
breasticle
sports,
alone, you
especially
freak.
track and field, helped out a lot.
She's
But
after
I
my
digress.
breasticle.
It's
Like
not
I
my
said,
problem.
sometime during high school, he became Graveyard Gary.
Uh,
I can't remember who came
I-
up
Now
with the
she's
name,
after
but
your
it stuck.
breasticle.
He doesn't
Like
sound
a
Apparently.
fly in wet cement.
Why is
Gary was the
He's a
biggest
stick
pothead in the school, and that's saying a lot.
I'm built like a
Believe
Greek
me.
god. The
In
hell
fact,
you
I think I
mean?
smoked my first joint with him.
Yes, built like
He
a
had
Greek
approached
god
me
at the
end
age of
lunch
30.
break. His eyes were red and glossy, his hair disheveled and
32,
unkempt.
33,
I just rushed
actually.
out from school band practice.
That happened
I played
already?
bass in the school
Yeah.
band. Duder, he called everybody
Okay,
that.
so now Steam's
This is
closed,
what you need.
so if I open
He
it,
handed me a
will
joint the
it
size of a football. I took it
actually
and smoked it right
register
then and
some
there in
type
the
of
parking
error
lot.
occurred?
I was
The
curious.
hell?
Lots of kids
Log
were
me
using
in,
pot,
you
so I
fat.
figured I would at least give it a try. I got so stoned that I barely made it to class.
Continue.
Embarrassing story aside, everybody in class knew that I was blazed, including Mrs. Stafford, my English teacher.
Okay.
Fortunately, I was saved by a snap assembly at
This
the
the
auditorium.
friggin' load. Try again.
I started getting high with Graveyard Gary every day at lunch. This is where my tale begins, meaning this is where things get creepy. Downright terrifying, if you ask me. Graveyard Gary mostly smoked hash, and he had plenty of it too. One gloomy fall afternoon, Gary let me out back behind St. Joseph's Cemetery, the oldest and creepiest cemetery in the lowly town of Gulp. The cemetery is next to a path leading to Main Street. Kids from both Blessed Mother of Mary High School and St. Joseph's Elementary School use the path, so there was plenty of traffic. We sat behind a large tombstone where nobody
Yes,
I could have been
yes.
done with the receipt already.
Okay, fucking
Thank
just
you.
give it back to me in a fucking
I
few
hated
minutes.
it.
Like,
It
goddamn.
only
Many
gave
dead
you minutes,
souls
it'll
in
give
one
you
place.
frickin' seconds.
No wonder everyone avoided
Ah.
it. Everyone, that is, except for Graveyard Gary. And Gary and I were sitting with our backs against an anonymous grave, gawking as a group of kids walked past, probably returning
No,
from the
I
local
just need
pizza
to
place.
scan it.
I remember
what
being
I need to
extremely self-conscious. What if they see me? Or they called me stupid names like Cemetery Sam or something
Okay,
worse.
so now.
Not gonna lie, this thought terrified me almost as much as what comes next. Do you believe in
Comparable, you
ghosts?
That's all I needed,
Gary
thanks.
casually
Yeah.
asked. He was putting a small piece of hash into the heater of a cigarette and then sticking the cigarette into the hole of an empty bottle with a hole cut into it. This is affectionately known as a bottle toke, a BT for short. Yeah, welcome to Gulp. Before I could answer, though, he
Folder.
passed me the bottle and I inhaled the swirling smoke.
Nope,
I said amidst a coughing fit. Gary chuckled, his eyes big and red and round. Look over there, he pointed. I did. He was pointing to a tall gravestone with fancy calligraphy carved into it. Despite its grandiosity, the grave was grim and very old. It was super creepy, the kind of grave you would expect a vampire to climb out of. Harold P. Halliburton was the name on the grave, I remember. That name has stuck with me ever since, and for good reason. There, he snapped. You see it? I didn't, nor did I care to. This place was weirding me out. The way the wind tickled the long grass poking out of the graves, making strange and inhuman sounds. The way the graves seemed to be all pointing toward this particular tall and ominous tombstone. Plus the feeling of being watched was as strong as the hash that I was inhaling. Look harder, he said unkindly. I did, squinting and straining to see something, mostly to amuse him. I saw something, a shimmering light, like steam released from a kettle. Just a flicker, but it was enough to give me the heebie-jeebies. Before I could look away, the soil surrounding the tombstone had moved. I rubbed my eyes, pretending not to notice the ghastly ghost stumbling out of the Halliburton grave, pretending not to smell the sweet stench of rotting flesh prickling at my nostrils. The corpse, a zombie and ghost hybrid perhaps, started staggering toward us, scaring me half to death. Aha, you do see him. He seemed proud and stoned. I knew it, I always did. That's why I kept you around all this time. I raised my eyebrow and was about to intervene like, what's this kept you around nonsense, when he dropped another bomb. You're a sleether, like me. He finished preparing another BT and then handed it to me. You just don't know it. I don't remember much of what happened next, but thankfully the Halliburton ghost had disappeared. We chatted nonsensically and then we ambled towards the school, good and high for our afternoon classes. I do recall trying my darndest to forget what I had seen.
Of course, as soon
I
as
was
I'm
stoned,
able
I
to
told
find
myself.
it.
The Halliburton ghost was my overactive, inebriated imagination. I told myself this, but I didn't believe it. Not for a second. Getting stoned at the cemetery became a ritual. One afternoon, a week or so later, Graveyard Gary seemed agitated, barely speaking a word. This was odd, you see. He didn't care enough to become upset. Even though he was an outcast, nothing seemed to bother him. I figured it was the drugs. We sat at our usual grave. I waited while Gary prepared the first round of BTs. As I was about to take a healthy-sized toke, something in the cemetery screamed. The sound ricocheted off the graves like a flat stone on a calm lake. The scream sent ripples down my spine. I could feel it in my teeth. Immediately, I was terrified. I hadn't heard nothing like it before, not ever. It was extremely loud and piercing, both near and far away at the same time, almost like it was a part of me. And then it happened again. The sound dripped from my forehead like a cold sweat. Probably peed my pants too. Even Gary seemed startled, so much so that he dropped his hash nuggets. He cursed while rubbing his large hands through the cold cemetery floor, searching for his precious hash. For a moment, the world went dark and still. I swear that I could hear these cemeteries' raspy breath rattling all around me. To my horror, the Halliburton ghost had emerged, haggard and horrible. It groaned as it stood tall, too tall if you ask me. And then it flickered and returned to its grave. I sighed with great relief. And then something grabbed a hold of me. Something big. It flashed before my eyes, sending a shockwave throughout my body and soul. It was awful. An abominable beast with maggots for eyeballs and thick matted fur. It stood erect, 10 feet tall at least, wearing blood-stained rags. It wasn't human, but it wasn't an animal. It was both. It came at me from behind, scraping my stomach with its long and jagged claws, cutting me open. The pain was egregious. Immediately, I started leaking blood by the barrelful. I freaked out trying to get the monster off me, but it had latched onto me. I fell to my knees, groaning in pain as the creature pounced. And again, it shrieked. I panicked. My trembling hands were covered in blood. My blood, which was leaking like a faucet. Hey, relax, Gary said forcefully as he stood up. I gotta take a piss. Here seems fine. To my astonishment, as I lay leaking blood, being devoured by some unholy apparition, Gary pissed on the Halliburton grave. As he did, thunder rattled overhead and the sky grew menacingly dark. Lightning flashed. Hey, looks like you're bleeding, Gary said without sympathy after he had finished. He stuck his fatty finger deep inside my wound. I hollered in grief and everything went gray. For a moment I thought he was dead. And then my eyes shot open in a flash. Graveyard Gary was slapping my face, grinning like a lusty lounge lizard. I saw my reflection in his eyes.
I don't like you, that's it.
Bleeding. I managed to say, my eyes pleading for help. Graveyard Gary crooked his huge head, brushing aside his brown bangs. I told you, he said as though talking to an imbecile. It looks like you're bleeding, Lux. By then, he had given up on trying to find the
Okay,
lost
Dad.
hash. You're not bleeding, you just think that you are.
Okay,
So
Dad.
hardened. Halliburton is a huckster, he's inside your head, gutting you like a pig. Gary started squealing and making pig noises. I leapt to my feet, panting and thrashing about. I couldn't shake off the ghost no matter how hard I tried. It was taking over me, my entire body felt gross. The creature was pulling at my spine, bending my bones. My hands and arms and legs were saturated in a thick, gooey blood. My school uniform was ruined. How would I explain this to my father? Pain and panic confused me. I reached for my phone and then thought better of it, not wanting to ruin it with my splattering blood. Meanwhile, Graveyard Gary was laughing and rubbing his belly. For the first time that day, he seemed back to his old self. To my dismay, he produced a bag of candies from his jacket pocket and started shoving them into his pudgy face, chewing them like a hog. Watching him mock and belittle me was appalling, and I hated him. Making matters worse, the Halliburton ghost started speaking. Its breath was rank and highly offensive, like sulfur mixed with raw sewage. Sam, it said, stay with us. You'll love it here, I promise. I flew 20 feet into the air, shrieking and crying and bleeding. And that's when Graveyard Gary's face changed. It was an expression that I had never seen on his face, a mixture of concern and contempt. Hey, smarten up, Sam, he said after stuffing his soiled BT bottle into his backpack. I told you the ghost is screwing with you, that's all. The blood isn't real. He slapped me, not hard, but hard enough to steal my dignity. Whatever was left of it. When I looked down, though, the blood was gone, most of it anyway, and so was the Halliburton ghost. Well, he said dramatically as though he had been rehearsing this. And the time has finally come, so he's gonna milk it for all it's worth. The blood isn't real, but... His rubbery lips stretched into a grotesque grin, making him look like a full-fledged psychopath. The ghosts are real. Ghosts? I didn't like how he said it in plural. Graveyard Gary ignored me and peered across the endless row of tombstones, shaking his head. It's getting realer every day, and stronger too. He helped me to my feet and we meandered back to class. I kept checking to see if the blood was still there. It wasn't, but that didn't reassure me. Nothing would after that. I mean, how could it? Just before we parted ways, he patted my shoulder, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Remember, Sam, you're a sleether." After my recent brush with death-defying zombie ghosts, I came to a conclusion. No more drugs. My grades were slipping and so were my athletics, and my parents were seriously pissed off, all because of Graveyard Gary. That and his affection for cannabis. Needless to say, I avoided him like homework, and for good reason. But that didn't stop me from wondering what he meant when he said that I was a sleether. I mean, what the heck is a sleether? I considered asking my father, but judging from his reaction to my slipping grades and torn up school uniform, I decided against it. I mean, how would I even broach the subject? Gary was screwing with me, that's all. He's weird, probably why nobody likes him. But then, what about the Halliburton ghost? There's no way that that was fake. I saw him with my own very eyes. Heck, the thing nearly tore me to shreds. My life was miserable and I had no one to turn to. The strangeness continued. During lunch break, on my way to the pizza place, minding my own business, I spotted Gary's dirty sneakers poking out from behind a tombstone. The rest of him was hidden behind tall weeds and tombstones. But I knew that it was him and I knew what he was up to. My heart plummeted. Please God, no, don't let him see me. Too late. "Hey, Duder," he shouted. "Come on over here, I want to show you something." The other kids continued along the path, seemingly unaware of his presence. And then it dawned on me. Graveyard Gary was speaking directly in my mind. Head down, staring at my shoes, I kept walking.
Okay, that's weird.
No
Now
way
it's
I was
only
gonna go back to the
registering
cemetery.
as a singular
Fine,
disc.
have it your way, he snickered.
CSST.
I picked up the pace, hustling towards the pizza place at breakneck speed. I gobbled a slice of pepperoni and slurped down a cold Coke and then walked back to school, hoping that Gary was gone or simply too stoned to see me.
How the
Confirmed.
SSD
Slayer has been
driving me
activated.
fucking insane, dog.
Demonic threat level increasing.
What? That
Id Software presents Doom, The Dark Ages.
that?
Available now on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation
Who's that?
5, and PC.
Rated M for mature.
Yes.
My anxiety was increasing with every footfall. Sam. His voice
Okay.
soared inside my mind
That
as I
being said,
approached the
that
path.
should be good.
Get your scrawny butt back here, now. And then the most peculiar thing happened. There was a sonic boom and everything went gray. The next thing I know, when I opened my eyes, I was sitting next to Gary on the cold cemetery floor. Gary was grinning like a lunatic, clearly inebriated. He offered me a bottle filled with hash smoke, to which I refused. He shook his head disapprovingly, and then he inhaled the swirly white smoke and coughed. By now, his eyes were as red as a clown's nose. Halliburton's getting stronger, he said once his coughing fit had ended. Gotta do something before it's too late. I tried leaving, I really did, but Gary wouldn't let me. He was holding me down, although his hands were nowhere near me. It was clear that Graveyard Gary had hijacked my mind and body. I was enraged. My blood turned cold, but I didn't know what to do, and so I stayed put, for the time being at least. Above us, the gray and ominous clouds obscured the sun, and it got dark. Too dark. The wind whistled along the red cedars, rustling their leaves like clunky old bones, the bones of the dead. I thought again of leaving, but I didn't dare to. Gary was staring at me with his jester-like eyes. Clearly he was insane, and I was in danger. What the heck was I even doing here? Gary groaned as he stood up. The town of Gulp is in trouble, he said, and then he farted. His fart sounded like 1,000 corpses copulating. It smelled even worse, too. I gagged and rubbed my watering eyes. Good God, how can only one person, a teenager no less, create such a sickening smell? Finally, I spoke, anything to take my mind off the putrid stench penetrating my nostrils. No offense, Gary, but I don't want to hang out here anymore. In fact, I don't even remember. Shut up, Sam, he snapped, his mullet flapping in the breeze as the cold wind slapped his plump face. I ain't got time for your crap. Things are escalating. He looked serious and sick. He was wheezing like each breath hurt. Grudgingly, I forced myself to my feet. My instincts were on maximum, screaming at me to run back to class. I was about to bolt when Gary came at me so quickly, I nearly tumbled over. His massive fist held me firmly while his other hand slapped me. You're a sleether, Sam, he shouted. Smarten up. Everything went still, even the wind. Before I could consider a response, Gary's face turned ghost white. Suddenly he looked scared, which terrified me. Gary's voice went low, almost inaudible. They're back. He checked his watch. Right on time. I didn't have to ask what he was talking about. Across from us to our right, the Halliburton grave opened up, and a ghost emerged. I call it a ghost because it was transparent, but it looked more like a zombie. In fact, I was starting to believe the two terms are synonymous. That zombies are both dead and alive and ugly. Corpses that stopped decaying and gained supernatural strength. But they shimmered like ghosts, invisible to most living things. Whoever Harold P. Halliburton was while alive, this wasn't it. This was something far, far worse. Halliburton roared, his hideous face folded into a sinister scowl. His eyes locked into mine, and I was petrified and shaking profusely. My teeth chattered, involuntarily refusing to stop. Halliburton charged. I slipped and stumbled over a small grave and nearly knocked myself out. Gary swore, and then he did something that I'll never forget, not in a million years. He rose 10 feet in the air and started chanting. His voice was explosive. The Halliburton ghost recoiled. His spongy arms thrashed about. He made a sickly sound like a hiccup, and then he disappeared. Relief came quickly, but it didn't last. Before I could formulate a thought, I was blindsided. The creature pulverized me, pounding me into submission. Blood and phlegm spewed from my every orifice, and I glimpsed into the creature's cold, lifeless eyes and shuddered. I was staring into the eyes of evil. Halliburton's claw-like fingers clutched my wrists. The pain was instantaneous. The monster twisted me like a pretzel and then held me high above him, spinning me in circles. I shrieked. The idea of dying in a cemetery was insanely morbid, even for Gulp. And besides, I was too young to die. What did I ever do to deserve such a cruel fate? Meanwhile, Gary's chanting grew louder, filling all of space. His raspy voice sounded like a fleet of transport trucks honking unanimously. Halliburton groaned. Long and slender snakes crisscrossed from his nose and eye sockets. Those squirming snakes slithered across my face, slapping me with their treacherous red tongues.
This is the aircraft carrier shelter you seized, previously owned by a small faction of about 800 people.
Oh my god. What the
Now,
fuck?
it's entirely yours. Although you lost over 500 members, you finally have your shelter. After clearing the bodies, you sorted the supplies on board. The last faction stored a lot of canned goods and grew various vegetables. For the first time in 3 years, you enjoyed fresh.
I hate snakes, always have. I was weeping and nothing could stop me. And then Gary's voice entered my mind. You're a sleether, he said. Remember, it's only a hallucination. Something in my mind snapped, like a trapdoor being slammed. The snake slithered back inside Halliburton's eyes and nose and then disappeared. He grumbled and growled and then he dropped me. I fell with a thud. The pain was as real as the terror in my heart. Just as I thought that things couldn't get any worse, the unthinkable happened. A row of graves started stirring. Oh, good God, no, I thought. Not more of them, please, not more of them. A fleet of zombies emerged. The creatures croaked as they marched towards me like the army of the undead. I counted 13 of them. How lucky. They were filthy with flaky skin falling from their brittle bones. Some of them still had hair knotted and dirty. Others were so hideous that they showed no signs of ever being human. They wore cruddy rags that had more holes than the plot of an episode of Star Wars. Gary descended next to me. Fly with me, he whispered. I could have killed him right then and there, but then, to my amazement, he grabbed my hand. We flew 20 feet in the air straight up. I screamed the entire time. When we halted midair, I couldn't believe my eyes. The lowly town of Gulp lit up. From this terrifying height, not only could I see the students ambling into the school, some carrying backpacks and some clowning around or fidgeting with their phones, I saw more, much more. To my horror, those unholy creatures of the dead were everywhere. The cyclists, pedestrians, Uber drivers, the police, you name it. Even teachers and teachers. How did I not notice this before? I watched a delivery driver with 4 arms and wearing a necklace made of human skulls deliver a parcel to a house as bleak as a Dickens story. I could see inside the box and it was a severed head. What kind of town was Gulp anyway? I didn't want to know. Meanwhile, Gary removed his backpack and was rummaging through it. He grabbed a fistful of giant and golden nails. These glittering nails of gold were extraordinary and clearly made of magic. How he fit so many inside his backpack is impossible. Gary dropped them like bombs while speaking in a language that sounded as old as time and space. Yet the words he spoke seemed eerily familiar to me. like a language used in dreams. The golden nails fell furiously, digging deep into the creature's rotting flesh. Blobs of blackened blood billowed from their gaunt and sickly faces. Their dark and sordid tears soaked the ground below them, creating pools of mud and gunk. I gasped, having no idea that those creatures could cry. Vertigo was getting the best of me. My arms and legs were flailing and my stomach was having none of this. And then I witnessed a golden nail plummet into a zombie's eyeball. The creature wailed and pulled out the nail using both hands. Its eyeball popped out and rolled away. All at once, my pepperoni pizza ejected, coating the cringeworthy creature below. It roared in disapproval and wiped away the defilement, and then it evaporated. My mouth tasted terrible and I felt even worse. Panic struck me. What if I fall? Those monsters would devour me, and then I would become one of them. All the while, gravity was pulling me downward. My strength was failing faster than the leaves in the third period of a playoff hockey game. My pleading eyes fell upon Gary who did the unthinkable. Reaching deeper into his backpack, he produced a crucifix. It was extremely old and made of silver. Take it and point it at Halliburton, and then repeat after me. The crucifix was extremely heavy and I nearly dropped it. When Gary spoke, I did as told and repeated what he said. God Almighty, please take back what you've left behind. Please remove these unholy inhabitants of earth, and may they rot in peace forevermore. The last of Gary's golden nails plummeted. His grip on my hand tightened. Below us, the creatures cried and cackled as their decaying corpses crawled back into their final resting spots. Halliburton was the last to leave. Slippery snakes slid across his repulsive body as he descended inside the cold and dark ground. Before he disappeared, our eyes met. Absolute terror engulfed me. His voice, like a chainsaw, cut a hole deep inside my heart. You'll pay for this, Sam. You and your stupid fat friend. And then the dirt covered him and he was gone. And Gary sighed and snapped his fingers. Sonic boom. My head snapped like a twig. I tripped and stumbled over Emily, a girl whom I've had a crush on for years. Kids laughed and teased, calling me Sideways Sam, a name that stuck ever since. Emily huffed and walked away, clearly unimpressed. Dumbfounded and deeply
I'm trying to
embarrassed.
figure out how the this thing repairs.
この程度の攻撃じゃ無理よ。褒美は危険な匂いがするわ。絶対の力。正面に魚雷よ。この程度の攻撃じゃ無理よ。前から魚雷よ。もちろん見えてたわね。敵潜水艦を沈めたわね。
Connect to Windows. Press A plus the home.
Therapy has always been such a scary idea to me because I simply did not know where to get started. I didn't know how to find my person. I did not know where to go until BetterHelp came in and helped me solve a lot of those problems. With BetterHelp, I got started on my therapy journey and I actually went through a couple of different therapists to find my perfect match, and that's something that you shouldn't be scared of. You start with a questionnaire when getting started with BetterHelp, and even that helped me guide and helped me think about what I'm looking for with this experience, because getting started, I had no idea. Only thing I knew going into it was that I would benefit from talking about my feelings, and just having someone there who's there professionally to help me guide through life took some time for me to get adjusted and to figure out what I'm looking for, but BetterHelp accommodates that perfectly. You can request change, no extra charge, and now that I found my perfect match, I feel so supported going through life. And I've been traveling a lot recently, and that takes a toll on my stress level and just having a lot of thoughts that come with the travels, but I'm connected to my therapist at all all times
Okay,
without
so
being in one
since my
city, which is another
SSD
great
is
part
already
if you are
friggin'
traveling. I can reach my
connected
therapist
right now,
through a message, voice call, video call, depending on what my situation's like at that time of the week.
Oh
Over
no,
4
it
million
is.
people have
It's
used
moving.
BetterHelp. Everything's
So,
done online and
the
nothing to
SSD,
be
okay.
scared of, really. And
That's
I'm here
nice.
to testify for that. If you've been wanting to get
So
started
I
on your
don't
therapy
want to
journey,
unplug
I highly
that yet.
recommend BetterHelp.
I will unplug my mouse. And then I need to plug in.
I brushed the dirt from my school uniform and tried to act cool. Here I was, standing on the path next to the cemetery, surrounded by groups of kids returning to school and having no recollection how I got here. Just then, a text
Whatever the
arrived and my
heck it
heart
is.
leapt into my throat. Gary Cooper's name flashed on the screen like an omen. Wearily, I clicked the text and a sense of doom devoured me. Nothing made sense anymore. I reread his text over and over, even during science class. Remember, Sam, you're a sleether.
The indicator light flashes when
A sleether? I mean, what is a sleether? It was time to find out, once and for all. But here's the problem. Graveyard Gary had disappeared. He was away from school all week, and I figured he was sick. I mean, he certainly looked sick. Let's face it, the guy was miles away from being healthy. I texted him repeatedly, no response. I was growing more and more anxious and scared. Something was wrong in the lonely town
functions
of
as an
Gulp.
Xbox
Something most foul, but what and why? I had no answers, and having no friends other than Gary, I asked my father. I've always felt that he was hiding something from me, something important. Turns out that I was correct. What he revealed shocked me to the core. Son, he said, sitting on the sofa sipping his rum and coke. You come from a long line of sleethers. But, fist clenched, I spat my words like venom. What is it? My father flinched. I've never spoken to him that way. I mean, I wouldn't dare. He scanned the vicinity, making sure Mother wasn't around. His eyes, guarded from his well-worn fedora, had that faraway look, like he had been planning this for years and now the day had come and he was unprepared. There are rules, son. I wish this weren't true. He slow-sipped his rum as he spoke. A sleether's job is to protect the people of Gulp from the monsters inhabiting the town.
Oh no.
When
No,
the
which
time
is
comes to
what?
pass the torch,
Unknown
which alas
controllers
for me
support.
it has.
Gamepad connected.
I was
Fuck yeah.
gobsmacked.
That's
Me,
what
a
I
sleeper.
wanted.
How was I to protect the town? I had
Whoa.
only turned 17. I mean, what did I know? My father continued.
Okay, so
The town of Gulp is
that's
pervaded by
done.
magic. Dark magic, mostly. Unfortunately, dark magic is untrustworthy and over time it gets cranky. Cranky like Harold P. Halliburton. Hearing that name filled me with horror. Many years ago, my father continued. Halliburton owned a thriving paper mill factory. Shortly before his untimely death, the factory succumbed to fire. Arson was suspected. Little is known of the factory. All the documents and blueprints perished in the fire. After the fire, Halliburton went stark raving mad and committed suicide. He died June 6, 1924 in St. Joseph's Cemetery. The town's been plagued with monsters ever since. My father looked me dead in the eyes, making sure I was listening. This is where it gets strange. Father lowered his voice. Over time, the monsters multiplied, having crossbred with the living. How that's possible, Lord only knows. I was about to intervene when his eyes cut me in half. Meanwhile, the rest of the world remains oblivious. Not surprising, since Gulp is 666 miles north of Toronto. Most people have no idea of its existence.
Plus, I'm gonna have to, yeah, it's gonna take me back to the main menu.
He downed his drink and wiped his stubbled face. If the monsters were to spread into other towns and cities, they could slowly take over. Can you imagine our world being run by monsters? Honestly, I could, but I smartly kept that to myself. Unlike the Quasars, Father snarled as he said this, who tend to be mischievous and incapable of getting along with others. Sleethers use their powers to protect the people of this town. Sleethers, it is said, are as rare as fine jewels. Our lineage must be kept a secret.
Yeah, well, let me
My
move
stomach
around
was
and
in
look
knots.
with
This
the
was all too
controller.
much, too fast. What he said next, though, still haunts me. If only the people of
It
Gulp
seems
could
like it
escape,
works
then
with
maybe
everything
things
else
would
though,
improve.
but it's
But
bugging
there
out
is no
for
escape.
remote play.
People
for some
try,
reason.
but something always
Maybe I
brings them
just
back.
need to look
Father
up
frowned as he said this.
sliders.
Finally, I spoke up. But can we destroy the cemetery or kill off all the monsters? Father
Maybe
shook his
if
head.
I
I've
connected
told you all I could, son, and now
that.
I must go. But I struggled to speak. There are rules, he snapped. He stood up, removed his fedora, and handed it to me. My work here's finished. I've done all I could. Now it's up to you, son. You must fulfill your destiny. But he hugged me. It had been years since we had embraced. You're strong, Sam, stronger than you know. You must remember this. The rest you'll figure out as you go. He gathered his coat and boots and a few supplies, and then he slow walked to the back door. Kiss your mother for me. She's suffering, but remember. His eyes rolled back as he smiled. She's quite capable of taking care of herself. He laughed, and I've never seen him again. Before I could gather my thoughts, Mom came hurrying downstairs with milk and freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. After one long look at me, she burst into tears. She dropped the tray on the counter, hurried upstairs, and slammed her bedroom door. The house hushed. That was a bad day. Sadness turned into confusion, followed by self-pity, and finally, anger. This was stupid. Why would my father say such nonsense? I stormed out of the house, furious and afraid, and I marched, head down towards the cemetery. I was wearing my father's fedora. Duder. A voice crackled across the night, scaring me out of my stupor. The night was cold and crisp. A quarter moon hung sideways over St. Joseph's Cemetery, orange and evil-looking. A blanket of fog swept across the cemetery floor. Somewhere a dog barked. I looked up and there was Graveyard Gary sitting Buddha-like on a tombstone, a fat joint leaning from his lazy lips. You're just in time. He sparked the joint, inhaled, and then went on a coughing spree. When he handed it to me, I refused. My fists were balls of rage, and my teeth clenched. I wanted to strangle him.
Starting to think I
This
should
is
have
your
thrown
fault.
away
Icy chills coursed through my veins. You did this to me.
other one.
Gary took another toke and then coughed and started laughing like a lunatic.
You know what?
Sam, he sneered.
Let's just say, screw that connection cable and try working with
He
this
rubbed the
one
remainder of
because
his
it's
joint
brand
onto the
spanking
tombstone,
fucking
and then
new.
put the roach into a tin and
So
shoved
it
the tin
shouldn't
into his
have any
bulging backpack.
issues
I
while
wondered what else he was
connecting
hiding.
to my SSD.
The cemetery went quiet. The only sound was my beating heart and Gary's wheezing. Gary opened his mouth to speak when his eyes, big and red and round, darted toward the Halliburton grave. The concern on his face troubled me, and for good reason. Quick, take this. He shuffled through his backpack and handed me a dagger. It was long and silver with calligraphy carved into the razor-sharp blade. Its handle was smooth and lined with gold. I reckon you'll be needing this. My blood chilled. Something was about to happen, something dangerous. I turned and tripped over a tombstone and swore. Oh, how I hate this insufferable cemetery.